It's up to me. It's not up to them. It's up to me. Now, they don't have to deal with us, which is okay, because we lost, under Biden, we're losing $5 billion a day. Think of it. And because of that, we're saving billions of dollars, But and I'm not saying this to be a wise guy with you, to be mean. I don't want to be mean to you. You're, a good professional. But you do keep asking me that same question.
Picture this. You're waiting for your new electric car that was supposed to arrive next month. The dealer calls. Sorry, it's stuck in Shanghai because China decided to play political games with our cargo. Now multiply that frustration by $10 billion worth of goods affecting everything from phones to medical supplies. While Grumpy Trumpy throws a tantrum about this, real Americans are facing the consequences. Hospital administrators are literally counting syringes, wondering if they'll have enough for flu season. And that's just the beginning of this ridiculous economic chess match where we're all pawns. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Perhaps you're wondering how the largest ports in the world could have suddenly become political weapons in the context of a war for power on a global scale. The "I know trade better than anyone else" mentality of our very steady genius was the driving force behind everything that happened.
Nobody understands. We're negotiating with many countries. But at the end of this, I'll set my own deals because I set the deal. They don't set the deal. I set the deal. They've been ripping us off for years. I set the deal. So every country, almost without fail, friend and foe, has been ripping us off for years. So we're meeting with almost all of them, including China. And at the end, I'm setting the deal. They keep saying, when are you going to, this is not like a big deal that's going to be signed. In some cases, we'll sign.
Remember the tariffs that President Trump slapped on Chinese goods in 2018? Do you remember them? At the same time, he gave them the assurance that it would be easy to win and that China would just acquiesce like a submissive puppy. I just wanted to let you know that they did not. At this very moment, China is carrying out what are known as safety inspections at the shipping port of Shanghai. In a word, accurate. Safety inspections that, for some inexplicable reason, only look at things made in the United States. And what a coincidence! When it comes to the game of trade war, they are significantly more savvy than Orange Turd. During the time when he was tweeting useless drivel in all capital letters, they were working on developing more effective strategies. Given that it processes 47 million tons of cargo every year, Shanghai is not your typical port. It is estimated that 17% of all trade in China is conducted through a single site. The stress level that should be applied, it would appear that China has identified the economic vulnerabilities of the United States and has made the decision to apply some pressure on them. When Trump's Great Trade War first began, which was 4 years ago, we were in a much better position than we are now. The deficit in China's trade, the size is still tremendous. Jobs in the manufacturing sector in the United States continues to disappear. There is one thing that President Trump was able to bring back to its former splendor, and that is China's influence over us. To tell you the truth, Trump's magnificent idea to bring manufacturing back to the United States of America was a complete and utter failure. At this point, rather than being more autonomous, we are even more vulnerable to interruption from China. Comparable to making an effort to quit smoking, purchasing 2 cartons rather than 1 is a similar strategy. The industries that have been hit the worst are the ones dealing with technology, healthcare, and autos. To be more specific, those insignificant and unimportant industries that Trump claimed to help, It is nothing more than the fundamental building blocks of our economy. As the flu season comes closer, hospitals are already informing patients that there is a major scarcity of medical supplies. There is nothing that better exemplifies the phrase "America first" than the fact that American patients are denied treatment because Grumpy Trumpy felt the need to demonstrate his stubbornness. With our wallets, our health, and yes, even our expensive iPhones, the United States of America is the nation that is suffering the most from this trade war. As a result of this fiasco, the typical American will have to pay hundreds of dollars extra this year for things like automobiles, electrical devices, and pharmaceuticals. On the other hand, I am certain that employment opportunities in the coal mining industry will soon be available again. But wait, the consequences are far more ridiculous than you might think. Do you consider this to be harmful? It is important important to keep your MAGA hats on because the situation is about to get significantly worse. Are you of the opinion that the port restriction only affects organizations of a significant size? Do not be fooled. This tragedy puts not just your finances, but also your health, and potentially even your next meal at McDonald's at jeopardy because of it. Unbelievably, 30% of our diagnostic kits and 40% of the syringes used in the United States are sourced from China. When Donnie Diapers made the decision to play tariff chicken, he failed to take into account the fact that hospitals require supplies in order to keep patients alive. My apologies. What about your brand new dazzling iPhone 17? The delay lasted for several months. Do you have the Tesla on order? Trapped in Shanghai until the year 2026. While this is going on, hospitals are calling their suppliers like distressed ex-partners at 2 in the morning in an attempt to get essential supplies. On the other hand, the trade war was quite easy to win. Despite the fact that the Little Electric Van Company, which is situated in Ohio, is unable to acquire its motors and batteries, the news will not cover this fact. Despite the fact that they have filed for bankruptcy, they are not making press. Small firms are failing for a variety of reasons, the most significant of which is that they do not possess the resources necessary to weather the storm, such as several $billion or highly skilled attorneys. With best regards, a turd of orange. Are you familiar with the concept of demurrage fees? All of your items will be subject to a daily cost of between $100 and $200 per container while they are in port. And are you aware of who ultimately ends up paying the bill? This is not the case in China, not very large corporations. Yes, you are correct. It will cost you an additional $5 each day to use your brand new toaster oven in Shanghai. Even Trump ought to be able to comprehend that one. Despite the fact that mathematics is a challenging subject, the National Retail Federation, which is not exactly an organization of extreme leftists, forecasts that by the middle of the year 2025, prices will have increased by anywhere from 5 to 10% for a wide range of products, including automobile parts and mobile phones. Now, the price of that phone, which was $500, is $550. What about that $30,000 commuter car? You could try $22,000. Your MAGA hat, on the other hand, will unquestionably preserve your warmth in the event that you are unable to pay for heating. What was the USA's brilliant response? Beginning on October 14th, Chinese ships will be subject to new port fines that might reach up to $3.5 million per vessel, mainly due to the fact that gasoline is perpetually an excellent method for fighting fires. It is possible that this will result in widespread layoffs, according to a senior official at the Port of Los Angeles. Wishing you even more success. The America First policies that we have implemented have resulted in our complete and utter dependence on China for everything, which is the real joke. They have control over 80% of the rare earth elements that are necessary for the production of electric motors and smartphones. When it comes to going to bed, our march toward freedom has made us more dependent than a child would be normally. A game of economic chicken is currently being played between both countries, with politicians pointing the finger at the poor while the general population is forced to bear the repercussions of their actions. During the time when Grumpy Trumpy is venting about how unfair everyone is to him, the standard American consumer is being harmed. Which actions could President Trump take to help clear up this mess? Take into consideration his ingenious solutions, which definitely include windmill cancer, Kofef, and probably even the nuclear destruction of a hurricane. On the contrary, the trade war that was supposed to be easy to win has turned out to be a financial disaster that is ruining both our healthcare system and our wallets. As a result of Orange Turd's deft negotiation, $10 billion worth of goods are still sitting in Shanghai, and hospitals in the United States are having difficulties locating syringes. There is more to this than just a theoretical conversation about policy. There is an increase in the cost of your iPhone. Because of this, it is more challenging to find your medication. The Grumpy Trumpy continues to publicly proclaim his victory. Even more worrisome is the fact that analysts warn that this could bring about the beginning of a new era in which nations prioritize self-sufficiency over global integration. Because of this, wait times will be longer and additional costs will be incurred.